Hello everyone. Jitka Bernardova here, and this is Stronger After Divorce: How to Get Your Shit Together and Thrive After Divorce. And I am very happy and very excited to be here today with my friend and my mentor, Debbie Ra. Welcome, Debbie.
Thank you, Yika. It's a blessing to be here and to share with you and with everyone who's listening. Just welcome and know you're in for a wonderful journey of self-compassion, acceptance, and love.
Thank you. Debbie is a professional forgiveness coach and founder of Forgiving Connect. Debbie works with clients around the world to make peace within themselves and create what they truly want in their lives. A cornerstone of Debbie's coaching is helping people practice self-forgiveness to get free from their judgments and awaken to their inner beauty. How beautiful is that and important, right?
It definitely is, and it really comes from walking my own talk, practicing self-forgiveness and really healing those parts inside that just I wasn't accepting or loving. And it changes everything, Yika. It really does.
Yeah, and usually, we go, if somebody hurts us, we go, what self-forgiveness should do with me? But it has to do everything with us.
It does. And you're bringing up, God, you're so wise. You really are. To me, you're bringing up like the key point on self-forgiveness, and that's this. And take it on faith that this is like for the people listening, because I know you know this already, that nobody can really hurt you. God, it may seem that way, but really, when you're upset, when I'm upset, that caught, like the where that is, where that lives, that's inside of me. So what people do, and it's just a trigger for me to heal whatever the cause of that upset is. And that is where self-forgiveness comes in. And I can give an example of what I mean by that. Like, would that be helpful?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, and I'll give you an example from my own life first, and then we'll see how it goes, because I have client stories left and right on this. And for me personally, I went through a divorce in 2006, 2007, and at the same time I moved across the country. And when I got divorced, it raised all of these old judgments that I had about my father, and about how he didn't love me the way I thought that he should. I placed blame on myself. I placed blame on him. And I felt really alone. And I even restarted an eating disorder that I thought I had healed years ago. And so what I knew well enough that my upset about Bruce, my ex-husband, or my dad didn't really have anything to do with them, that it had to do inside with me, with the judgments that I was placing against myself as like there's something wrong with me, and the judgments that I was placing against them. Because, like, imagine being able to go through life just free of all of that. I mean, it's liberating. Like, all the energy that goes into being upset and blaming other, like, look at my hands, like blaming myself, blaming other people. So I really worked on that and, cleared the eating disorder. More important than the eating disorder is I just forgave myself for the judgments that I had placed in my mind. And in doing that, it was like this space opened up inside of me to to live in peace and to stop carrying them with me in a way that just I allowed to like push down my natural joy and my gifts. And it was like I wasn't living life fully. I couldn't even look at what I wanted because I was so focused on the upset and the hurt. Does that make sense?
Yes, because I felt exactly the same way. I had so much judgment. I hated everyone. Because
Yeah.
when my ex-husband was cheating on me and everybody knew except me. So I didn't hate just him, but I hated everyone and I hated myself. And so
Yes.
it was hard.
Yes. And what if you were to say, like, what is one key that's like helped you to release the hate, to release the upset? What would that be for you, Jitka?
Just let go.
Yeah.
Just let go.
And isn't it just showing up again and again to say, okay, like, okay, I let go today, just for right now in this moment.
Yeah.
And my experience of it is, it's like we're all on this, I think I showed you this ladder, like we're all on this ladder becoming like more aware of who we are, creating more of what we truly want in our lives. And as we take a step up, including divorce, like that's taking a step in our own evolution, that it so helps to pause, to make peace with what's present there. So for me, it was like making peace with all of the beliefs that I had running about myself, about my dad, about Bruce, and setting myself free from that, because then that creates a solid foundation to take the next step. It's like the judgments that come up, what's in that and what's in all of that upset is, it's like it's the gift to be more aware. It's like a stepping stone. So it's good news. So for any of the listeners out there, if you feel discouraged or like you're never like life is meaningless or you're never going to get through it, you will. Like I'm living testament to it. Jitka's living testament to it. And that on the other side, it's not on the other side, it's through. Like Rumi has a great quote that like the way out is through. And joy is concealed in grief.
Yeah.
And see, when we're upset, just a little model, when we're upset, that underneath that upset is hurt. And when we bring loving to that place inside that hurts, it's like we release that and become aware that it's all love and that underneath all of it is love. And it's one step at a time, and I've walked it. So I'm not speaking like from this airy fairy, like, oh, this is easy. Like I had times on my floor of just like eating, binging, where I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And it was one step at a time, one day at a time, one self-forgiveness at a time, and getting the help I needed. You know, it's just like none of us need to go through this alone, right? I mean, that's what you do. You're a fantastic coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's like it completely makes sense that at a time of transition, or if you feel stuck in, that old hate, it could have been 20 years ago. It's like having someone like you to like really help people walk through it. I mean, God, what an incredible gift to avail ourselves of. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's very hard, and your friends that you have around yourself, they are usually not helping because they love you, they want the best for you, but they think the best thing for you is to stay in the same position. If you think you
Right.
do something, they go, oh my God, she's crazy, something happened to her, we have to watch her. So
Right. Right. Or they may commiserate with you rather than like a coach is really able to say, take a look at this.
Yes.
Take a look at this. And the real key is just having a willingness to forgive. That's the way that I see it, is like forgiveness is an act of love and a gift of your own heart to you. And that you don't need to know how to do it. Just be willing. Be willing to be willing. Be willing to be willing. And I thought that we could walk through the steps of like how someone could practice self-forgiveness. Would that be assistful?
Yes, that would be
Okay.
very helpful.
And I have one more client story too. Let's see. Let's go through the self-forgiveness first, and then I'll tell you how this one client used it. So essentially, there are 3 keys that I know to self-forgiveness. And the first is that self-forgiveness starts inside. So if the cause of our upset is inside, if someone does something and I get upset, that upset is in me, so that I have an opportunity to forgive and let go anytime. And that's good news, because that means that my own healing, my own life is not a result of what happens out in the world. Like, I'm not a victim to any of that, because I always have the opportunity to choose my attitude and to look for the good. I mean, how cool is that? So that's one. The second one is to forgive the judgment, not the behavior. So rather than, oh, I forgive, and it's not like there's anything wrong with forgiving the behavior. It's just that when you get to the point of forgiving yourself for even placing a judgment to begin with, that there's such freedom in that. Because when we're in that right, wrong thinking, good, bad thinking, it goes like this, right? It's like right, wrong, good, bad, and that there's some certain way to live. And what if there's not? Like, what if it's all for you? Like, what if each thing that happens is for your learning? And just by taking a learning orientation, it changes so much. And that's part of what's helped me to be compassionate with myself. I had so many years of critical behavior, self-critical behavior, just that voice that's like, you're doing it bad or wrong. So to be like, oh, what if this is all from my learning and I'm just doing the best I can, and so is everybody else, even if it doesn't seem that way. So that's great. So if I say, like, I forgive my ex-husband for walking out on me, right? Or you might say, I forgive my ex-husband for cheating on me. It's like, great. And yet somewhere in there, there's still a subtle judgment, right? It's like they were wrong for doing it, so I'm going to bestow forgiveness on them. And we hold that inside. And so it's like there's some part of like our energy that's still tied to that. And if you really want to, if any of us really want to thrive, best I know, letting that go helps. And this is where I'll tell my client story. And then I have one more key. Well, let me just say the other key just so we get there. And that is to do the self-forgiveness then. If you're forgiving the judgment, not the behavior, that you could say, I forgive myself for judging my ex-husband for walking out on me. I forgive myself for judging my ex-husband for cheating on me. You see the subtle difference there?
Yes, and I would recommend to anyone who listens right now to try it. Because when you say it out loud, you feel it inside.
Yeah. And keep going until you feel it. You felt it, Jitka, right?
Yeah, and it sets you free. Who cares about him? It sets you free.
It really does. And there were times that I would go about it in interesting ways. Like if I felt really stuck, I did this practice of, I have a spiritual psychology degree from the University of Santa Monica. And as part of it, we chose a relationship. So of course I chose my dad, because that was like, it was like the locus of so much angst for me, and just not feeling like enough and not feeling lovable and all of that. And what I chose to do was to send my gratitude to my father and his new wife every day. And I looked at a photo of them and I just said, thank you. And I wish the best for you. And it was like that even opened up a space for forgiveness. It was like just going at it in like different angles. It's like there's this beautiful diamond of who we are and learning who we are. So it's like approaching it from this way and saying, okay, I forgive myself for what he did, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, wait, now let's do self-forgiveness. I forgive myself for judging myself for this. And then it's like, well, okay, I just accept this. Okay, well, I'm just going to practice gratitude for this. Okay, I'm going to go out for a run, or I'm going to go and breathe. And it's like, just keep going. So I do have one more client story. Is it okay to share that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this isn't about divorce, and yet it's about another significant relationship. She came to me. She's in her 60s, and she's from France. And I met her. I have a forgiveness blog where I blog about different keys on self-forgiveness, and usually from my own experience, because that's like what a great way to share, is like sharing what we know. Like you're sharing what you experienced when you did self-forgiveness. And so she came to me and she wanted to heal her relationship with her mom. So her mom was in their late 80s or early 90s, was pretty close to dying, to transitioning. And this woman had such a clear intention to make peace with her mom before she died. And at one point, so we worked on this and, just by even starting with acceptance of like, okay, just accept what is. You don't have to like it or agree with it, just accept it. And we did forgiveness at one point for Nicole, a light bulb went off and she said, it has nothing to do with my mom. It has everything to do with me. And her whole life changed. She got freer inside. She had been placing so many judgments against herself, against her mom, against her daughter. And she really got free inside on who she was and gave space for her mother and her daughter to be who they were, because she could do it for her. And then she signed on for a second program, because once she got forgiveness coaching with me, so once she really got that, she was like, oh my God, like she had been living her life in some ways for her mom. And she's like, from this place, what can I create? Like she got back in touch with that 14-year-old who wanted to do photographs and write, and who's expressive and creative. And she worked on more subtle judgments around that she didn't even know was in there, because she had been harboring so much resentment about her mom. So there's so much available, and it's one step at a time, one day at a time. And I just want to say one more thing, that every woman who's listening to this, and me and you're so courageous, because just in listening, that inside you must have somewhere a voice inside that's still small, or maybe even big voice, that says, I know there's something more. And there is. And who you are is a tremendous blessing. And self-forgiveness is the best key that I know, one of, to make peace inside, to clear out those cobwebs so that, like, I see who I am. So to recap a bit, it's like if you're upset about something, that's just an indicator to you that there's a place inside that needs healing, that there's some judgment, some belief that you have running against yourself, usually, ultimately, and against other people. Like you should be different, that they should be different, and bringing the tool of self-forgiveness to that can assist you in getting free, in replacing those old beliefs and stories to ones that are more positive, like I am enough exactly as I am. I'm okay as I am. I've got tremendous gifts in the case of Nicole, that I'm a creative, wonderful photographer. It's beautiful. And then it's like there, to live life from that way.
Yeah.
It's like, and I have one other thought. Did you have another question for me? There was one other topic in regards to this I was going to bring up.
I wanted to ask, how can self-forgiveness help people to heal and thrive after a big change like a divorce?
Definitely. Big changes tend to really bring up those areas that need healing, right? Those judgments, those beliefs against my ex-husband, myself. I'm not good enough. He did it wrong. Husband shouldn't cheat. Like, how am I going to make it on my own? And so doing self-forgiveness, to forgive the judgments of not feeling capable to do it on my own, to feel meaningless, that there's something wrong with what they did, what I did. It's like bringing self-forgiveness to that is just like bringing a balm of love to a place inside that's hurting. And it's best way I know, it's like when we're focused on that judgment, first it brings healing when there's a lot of grief. And then it also can allow you to use that energy that was being held by those judgments that you have, to use that energy to create more of what you want and to move on.
That is so true. Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And anything else you have on that, Jitka? Because you walk this. I know you do.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. It's just, yeah, I let go and I practice self-forgiveness and I feel free.
How does that translate in your life?
It's just, I feel much more confident. I
Mm-hmm.
feel enough. I feel good about myself.
And that's the key, right? It really is. And another thing is that when you fall back into I don't feel enough, and you think you're falling back because really you can't help but keep climbing up. It just feels like, oh God, like I feel like I'm not enough again. It's like you can just use forgiveness, self-forgiveness again
Yes.
and again and again. I really had a limiting belief that someone should take care of me. And the thing is who said that?
Yeah.
I made that up. I mean, it's in maybe our society too. That doesn't matter. It's like I write my own rules. And letting go of those expectations, getting free through self-forgiveness is really amazing. Really amazing. And I'll share another client story. One of the offerings that I have, as you know, is a group called Self-Forgiveness and Money. And it's like what we do with money, we do in our lives, right? So it's like if I have a pattern of not valuing myself, which is where one of my patterns that I've worked on, like I did that with money through so much of my life. Like I just didn't value myself. When I would have money come in, it would go out the door because I'd drink it away. I'd, eat it and throw it up away. I didn't even like keep it in. I would have clothes that I wouldn't take care of. And once I started practicing self-forgiveness and learning that tool and doing things like meditating, taking one step at a time to take care of myself, to work on the outer as I was working on the inner, I transformed my relationship with money because I was changing the beliefs inside. And money is such a good, practical thing to work with because we all have to deal with money, right? So I had this one client who he was actually my inspiration for doing the self-forgiveness and money group. And when he came to me, he could barely pay my fee. He did. He like got it together in like an amazing way. He didn't know how much he really had in his account. He was living paycheck to paycheck and not even because he wouldn't have enough at the end. No savings, from my understanding. He was spending money on things he didn't even know. And one of the things we worked on together is that what was going on underneath for him is that he had a limiting belief from childhood and then again later on in life. So it doesn't always have to go back to childhood. Often goes back from childhood. It doesn't have to, that his needs aren't important. And how many women feel that way? Like, I'll raise my hand. I've worked on that consciously to say, I'm the steward of my own needs. So he didn't even know that was going on. And so we did a lot around self-forgiveness of those old memories that would pop up where he bought into those beliefs that his needs aren't important. And so by doing that inner work, and he would do the outer work at the same time, he canceled subscriptions that he wasn't using. He stopped spending money frivolously. He got 2 savings accounts where he had money automatically taken out of his check. He created a bills calendar on Google. And it was like, they worked together. And that's such a benefit to working with self-forgiveness. It's like, as you take action in the world, judgment or something happens, like a divorce, it's like then you use self-forgiveness and you're taking your next steps, and you use self-forgiveness and you take your next steps, and it's like this constant beautiful dance of love, even when it doesn't feel that way. And the key is just to be willing to stop playing the blame game and to take responsibility for what's going on inside.
Yes. And I like that you said that it's a game of love. And you actually become to love yourself.
Can I read a quote? I have this great quote. Is it okay if I read it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, hold on a second. I'll be right back. I have it in. I have a particular mentor of my own, a spiritual mentor. His name is John Roger. And oh my God. So this is really great. And Rumi, I love Rumi. He's like this great mystical poet, and just talks a lot about how like it's really about the love and the dance of love. And so here's the quote on with the game of love. You just reminded me, Jitka. Okay. So there is the game of life and the game of love. Most people are playing the game of life, trying to make life work. Life already works. How we bring loving into it is the big key. That's playing the game of love, and it's by far the bigger game. It's by far the bigger game. And self-forgiveness is a direct way to bring love into life.
Wow. Thank you, Debbie. Thank
You're so welcome. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. And, you know, just much love to you, much love to everyone who's listening. And just you have my my like the cheerleader in me is saying, like, go for it. Like, you can do it. You are doing it. You are doing it.
Thank you.
Exactly where you are.
And Debbie, I know you have a gift for our listeners.
I have two.
That's awesome.
Okay, so the first gift is for anyone listening that I'm willing to offer a complimentary forgiveness coaching session. And it could really be on whatever is present for you, where you'd like to maybe make peace with something going on in your relationship. Maybe there's something that you're really wanting to energize and you have a block to that. Or you just are curious about this tool of self-forgiveness and how you use it. So that is, whenever you hear this, that is a guarantee that session is on me. And will they have access to my email? Should I give that now?
I'm gonna post it.
Beautiful.
They're gonna find all the information about your gift below this video.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you can just email me and say,
yes,
complimentary forgiveness session. The other thing is, in a couple of days, I'm going to be interviewing a woman, a wonderful coach who went through a divorce a number of years ago, and her ex-husband was taking care of all the money, like just all of it. She had all these limiting beliefs running in regards to, like, I can't take care of money on my own. So this interview will be her story of how she took charge of her finances, how she shifted her relationship with money, and how she used all of that to learn, to grow, and to create even more of a thriving coaching practice. So that's another gift that I'm willing to give anyone who's listening, is that YouTube interview. My sense is that it may be assistful for many of the people listening.
Yes.
And
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
it happens a lot. Yes. So it's very helpful. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you for being here today with us.
You are very welcome. Thank you for asking, and just blessings to all, and to you, Jitka, and the work that you do.
Thank you.
So valuable.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.